Yo, yo, yo. This is the North Rhine podcast presented by FanDuel. Welcome to Bucko Brew, powered by the Fer Coffee Tea. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, on this beautiful, gorgeous Monday morning, Jim Rosati. Welcome back to Twitter. Welcome back to Bucko Banner of Bucko Brew. Jeez.
God, how'd you mess that up?
I don't know.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be back.
It's excellent. So how do you do?
I'm doing great. It was a good weekend. Relaxing. Valentine's Day. So, had a nice dinner, date, all that. And so yeah, it was a good weekend. How about yourself?
Congratulations. It was good. Spring training has begun. This is an excellent Monday, Jim. I mean, pitches and catches reported last week, so the excitement was building. And now, I mean, baseball is back. I'm very excited.
Yeah, full squad workout. First full squad workout is today. As of yesterday, everyone had reported to camp. Marcell Ozuna arrived yesterday. Still need a 40-man roster decision for that one. So there may be some sort of casualty coming later today, I would imagine, whether that's a 60-day IL stint that we aren't anticipating or someone gets DFA'd. It's going to be one of the two.
So take your guess, and I'll help you here. I don't think it's going to be a 60-day IL, right? I mean, Jared Jones went to clear up a spot. Is anyone else injured?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so.
Are we going to get some like Braves news? Like, oh, by the way, this guy's hurt.
Yeah, like I don't know. Billy Cook have a hurt his knee or something snowboarding over the winter. I don't know.
There's no broken hamate bones that we know of.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it seems like everybody passed their physical, which is good. Nobody's. There's been no news there. Yeah, I would expect
a DFA, right?
I would expect the DFA.
So who are we expecting? If I'm going to give you $10 to spend at the Fer Coffee Tea, who would you guess?
I think it's going to be Jack Swinski.
That's my guess too. It's got to be, right?
And I think it could be Billy Cook too. The reason why I think it's Jack Swinski is because since he signed that contract, he's making a little bit more money. He doesn't have any options. So I feel like and Billy Cook has options left. I feel like Jack Swinski just has a really low shot of actually getting claimed by another team. So yeah, I'll go Jack. I think it's going to be Jack.
I mean, like he's mentioned, like this is why you gave him that contract. Like this is why you did what you did. And I understand like that's not the first move you make, but at this point in time, it's like I feel like you've exhausted all the natural moves that just make sense. Now it's going to be someone who you air quotes want on your 40-man. Like even like your Billy Cooks, you know what I mean? Like you mentioned, like, there's still options. Like you still want him. You made that trade for him. You still want him on your 40-man. You believe you can sneak Jack through, especially this time of the year. So I feel like it's going to be Jack. Jack's going to be in camp the entire time, not on the 40-man. You're going down the AAA, buddy. And then your depth.
And honestly, he could make the opening day roster at this point. Still could, but
he could. He's going to trick us again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what did he do? Bat like 440 last year?
I don't think it was that good. He does always seem to have a pretty decent spring, though.
He does. Anyways, we have a packed show for you today. We're going to talk about AJ. Batman returns. Batman was in camp. A lot of stuff being talked about with him. He seemed to be very happy about being back in with the Pirates organization and doing stuff. And we have some takeaways. We're each going to give our 3 things that we want to see in spring training as it opens up now. So let's start, of course, with Batman. AJ Burnett announced it's going to be in Bradenton Pirate Spring Training for about 4 to 5 days, starting yesterday. Yesterday was day one, and it seemed as if it was like an introduction. He was hanging around, watching pitchers, talking to some guys. Just a lot of good stuff, a lot of good vibes, happening. So, what was your takeaway from day one?
Day one of AJ being there.
Yeah.
One thing that I remember Michael McHenry saying on our show about a month or so ago was that he wished the Pirates would do more of this. And I asked him, I was like, why? Like what actual good does this do, right? And he mentioned just like having people around who have been there before, who you can take feedback from, who's not necessarily your coach, he's not necessarily your manager, but like almost more like a peer that you just look up to. Because I don't know, we've all had jobs like that, or we've all in just in real life, right? Like if your boss says to do one thing, maybe it's like, yeah, but like if your coworker who's like having success is like, this is what I do, it's like, maybe I'll try doing that, right? And so like that's where this is. I don't think there's a whole lot to it other than just seeing someone who knows what they're doing, right? Like someone who's been through it before. I think that's really the most important piece. But at the end of the day, like the players still need to go out there and perform at a high level. Like you can't just bring AJ Burnett to camp and say, "Hey guys, here's AJ Burnett. He was in the playoffs." You can go to the playoffs too, right? But it's like you still have to actually be good.
Right.
But I think what's cool about it is one thing that is missing on this team, because it's been so long since this team has had any sort of success. Like how many players on the Pittsburgh Pirates even remember the Pirates having postseason success? I mean,
Well,
like you even look at the older guys on the team, like like Brian Reynolds. Like Brian Reynolds, even when he was drafted, that was still Brian Reynolds was drafted in 2018, I think. That was 3 years after the last Pirates so, like, Brian Reynolds was in high school the last time the Pirates were in the postseason. So, like, there aren't a whole lot of people on this team who knows what winning baseball looks like in Pittsburgh. And
right.
if they do, it was a while ago. So, every once in a while, I see that it's, a little bit it's nice to have people around who aren't, Steve Blass, where, like, love Steve Blass, but you look at Steve Blass and be like, "Oh, you won a World Series 50 years ago, 60 years ago." Like, that's a lot different than someone like AJ Burnett, who they may look at as more of a peer.
Yeah. I agree. And I want to go back just to the fourth thing. He's been talking about that for years. I mean, I remember actually you two going in on that. I mean, not in, but like debating, talk about that. It was a while. It was one of the first shows I feel like he was on because, like you mentioned, like why? Because the Pirates don't have any winners. Like who are they going to bring back, right? Who's done it? The closest you have is guys that have just won a wild card game, essentially. But I'm with you. Like I do think there is value in guys, and EJ's a perfect example of that. He's won, but he's also won elsewhere. But he's just endeared among Pittsburgh, and he just loves, himself with the Pirates organization and such. And he's a character, and he has something I think this team needs. And like Paul said, like being surrounded by winners is a good thing, and you should. And again, like he's won elsewhere. It's not just Pittsburgh and those quick playoffs or just the wild card. How do you want to phrase it? I mean, he's gone off and he's done some tremendous things. And like Paul said too, is like I didn't even know about the perfect game like that. That's awesome. Um, I take a look at this and just say, like, Donnie's first spring training as the manager, right? He's been the manager, but this is his first spring. This is the first year heading into the year he is the manager. And day one, he's bringing in AJ Burnett. And that is something that this, like, Derek Shelton never did any of that. I mean, it just seemed like, we know the Pirates organization is very tight-lipped, you know, but it seemed as if, like, spring training was almost cut off to outside people also. And again, from day one, Donnie's like, hey, AJ, why don't you come down, see the boys, talk with them, you know, and they did. And AJ was very welcome to it. And it's like, you know, hey, I'm here. I'm not going to make a spectacle of it, but, like, I hope you guys pick my brain and ask me stuff. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to change lives. I'm not here to, you know, coach someone, but, like, I'm here to hang around and pick my brain. Use me. That's what I'm here for. And it seemed like they did. And Jared Jones, I mean, Jared, that's the one I was interested in too. I think he says, like, yeah, I'm a hot hit on the mound. He is too, from what I know of. We might have some things in common, but I love the idea of it. And I'm curious if there is going to be any more, you know, like, who is maybe next. So yeah, I am glad that Don Kelly did this. And it seems like he's open to doing this. It's not like this is our way. I want no outside voices in here. It's like, no, man, we need some of this. We need some of these guys back. AJ did win here. Maybe there's something he can lend to you guys.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, it still falls on the players. That's kind of, I'll always go back to that, you know.
Well, of course it does. But
I mean, I remember,
players?
Yeah, I remember 20 years ago, you know, the entire 1979 World Series team would come down to spring training every year back in the 90s and the 2000s, and that didn't help because the players stunk, right? So you still need good players, but it is cool to see. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, yeah, there's that. Outside of that, I mean, again, you know, spring training technically starts today. Pitchers and catchers reported, so we did all of that. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about that's, you know, happened in spring as of now?
No, we'll get to like the thing now that full squad's in camp. We're gonna have a pretty lengthy segment at the end of this as far as, you know, what we want to, like, the specific things that we are looking for this spring. So we'll talk about that later in the show. But as far as stuff that's gone on so far, I mean, it seems like it's just been a lot of bullpens, live BP. That's where we're at right now. There's nothing too crazy going on currently.
Right. Well, then we'll bring up one thing. Before we do that, tell you about Fer Coffee and Tea. So Fer is a family and employee-owned and operated business. They believe that coffee and tea are one of life's simplest and most accessible pleasures, and when enjoyed thoughtfully, can open your eyes to the here and now. They have 5 locations across the city of Pittsburgh, including their flagship in the heart of Pittsburgh's historic Strip District. Don't forget to stop by Fer's new location downtown on Penn Avenue, right across from the Bradenton. Grab a cup and fuel up on your walk to PNC Park. Mobile ordering is available. Check out their Instagram for more details. And of course, the website is defer.coffee. And Jim, tell everyone how they can save themselves 30%.
Yeah, go to defer.coffee, load up your cart, and enter promo code NS930. That's NS930. And you'll save 30% off your entire order.
Boom. There it is. Which, once again, in my mug, in my Bucko Brew mug. So good.
I've got Sons of Vulcan this morning.
Okay.
That's my Defer flavor I've got.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what I even have right now. Is that bad? I just get it. And again, that's what's cool about Fer. You can ship like what style of coffee you like dark roast, light roast, and they'll just give you, you know, a random one every month of your subscription. I have a subscription. Every month I get some coffee, and I don't recall what this one is. The last one was Light Up Night.
Got it.
This one, I don't remember.
I haven't had that one.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Fer. It's good. It's good. But yes, so I do want to talk about one thing, one bit of news that came out, you know, while pitchers and catchers report and stuff. What I do think is interesting because there's this battle for the 5th starter, to maybe touch on that just ever so slightly right now. But Carmen Mlodzinski voiced more or less that, he's open to wanting to be a starter again. And, we entertained it last year. Like, sure, makes some sense. Fine. Why not? Let's see what happens. Well, we saw what happened, and it wasn't too pretty. He goes back to the bullpen, and he was just a dominant force once again. So heading into this offseason, I think you and I are basically like on the stance of just be a bullpen guy. Just be a bullpen guy. Do what you do. Do what you do well. That's what you've done well. Just stay there. And Carmen voiced again that he wants to be a starter. So I'm going to put this back onto you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first thing I want to say is this isn't necessarily Carmen saying, I want to be a starter. Of course he wants to be a starter. Everybody wants to be a starter. But the Pirates have told him, we want you to work out as a starting pitcher this spring. So this isn't like last year, it felt more like Carmen reported to camp and was like, hey, guys, I want to be a starter.
Right.
This year, it seems to be the Pirates saying, hey, Carmen, we want you to work out as a starting pitcher, and we'll see how it goes. There's a few reasons for this, I think. One is with the World Baseball Classic going on, you do actually need probably a few more starters than normal throughout spring training just to like cover some innings. Because you're gonna have Skeens gone, you're gonna have Dotel gone, you're gonna have Urquidy gone as well. So you're gonna have 3/5 of your current projected starting rotation like not in camp. So you need starters. But two, the way I like the reason why I like this is because I don't know if Carmen Mlodzinski is going to be this team's fifth starter, but I think you treat it like he's competing for it. Like you want this to be a competition for this fifth spot. The more people you have competing for it, the better. Eventually, the cream's going to rise to the top, and you're going to figure out who that fifth starter is. If Carmen Mlodzinski doesn't win the spot, then he's your bulk inning reliever who you can put in a game. He can get you 6 outs. He can get you 7 outs, whatever it is. He's already stretched out. You don't have to worry about anything. Like he's just good to go. So like there's no harm in doing this, in my opinion. The only thing that could happen here is a good outcome. And I know we did this experiment last year, and last year I was against it. Last year I was like, I don't like this. We've seen Carmen Mlodzinski start before. It didn't work. It didn't work in the minors. And then once you shifted to the bullpen, you saw the success. So last year it was like, why are we doing this? I'll say this. Last season at the beginning of the year, he didn't look good. Didn't look good as a starter. When he came back, though, he really found his groove. And it wasn't that he wasn't starting any games. He started a few, but it was kind of more in that opener role. But a few of those games, he did go pretty deep for a quote unquote opener. It's not like he only went like an inning or two either in all those games. So he consistently went 2+ innings. I'm just to kind of shout out some of these. Like on August 17th, he went 4 innings. August 9th, 3 innings. July 11th, 3 innings. June 29th, 3 2/3 innings. So like he was giving you length even after that bullpen. So the problem before was he could get through that first time through the rotation, but then it just started unraveling. He went back to the bullpen and he showed that he kind of fixed it all. He came back. He basically stopped throwing his slider and his sweeper, which weren't working for him. He threw his splitter more, which was a new pitch. He debuted a brand new curveball. He essentially he revamped his arsenal. He came back a different guy than he was before. And I want to just point out a couple stats here. Like in his 23 final appearances, he threw 55 1/3 inning. So he's averaging almost 2 innings per appearance. He struck out 58. He only walked 14. He only gave up 1 homer. He had a 1.63 earned run average and a 1.03 whip. He was dominant, like just shut down arm. And so, you know what? Yeah, let's see if you can get it for 5 or 6 innings instead of 2 or 3. I'm all for this. If you can stretch him out a little bit and he can remain effective, then cool. Let's do it. So like as opposed to last year I was like, what are we doing this for? This year, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, you know what? Carmen Mlodzinski is a different pitcher now on February 16th than he was last spring. And you know what? I want to see what this looks like. So let's go for it. If it doesn't work, then put him back in the bullpen where he's clearly awesome.
Yeah. So my takeaway on this is similar in the sense of, well, hey, it's spring. This is where you get weird if you're going to do anything. I'm not saying Carmen Mlodzinski being a starting pitcher is weird, but this is where you're going to do it. Let's see if this is something, because for all the things you mentioned, it's true. And he comes out and says, it's like, I haven't been a starter for like how many years, so like going that deep was something I had to focus and worry on. It affected the pitch shape. I didn't have the right pitch mix. And like you mentioned, like when he came, like he was working on that splitter. It was like a brand new pitch. He's picking David Bednar's head, working on that. He finally felt more comfortable as he went to the bullpen. Like you mentioned, he brings the curveball into and stuff like, so he was a different pitcher. He was dominant. But isn't that why you want Carmen Mlodzinski in that role? Because like, look how good you were. You are a force, and this bullpen can use a bulk guy. This bullpen can use a guy because you have Braxton Ashcraft and maybe Barco coming in and other younger arms. They don't have a whole lot of innings. You can even include Bubba Chandler in there and such. Like there's a need for a bulk guy in the bullpen. And if you can have one as good as that, I mean, we have a guy named Chris Davinsky in this organization now, and he thrived at being a reliever who pitched 100+ innings in a year. And you could argue he's the MVP of that Houston Astros team in the World Series because of what he did in that series. And that's really, really good. So part of me is like, I mean, this is a real weapon, a true weapon on this team. Carmen Mlodzinski is a weapon, not just a middle reliever. This is a true weapon of how you can utilize him. And this gives Don Kelly a lot of stuff to work with by having that. So that's like the give and take. And again, it's like, he was really good in that role. And yes, all those numbers looked good. They looked great because he only had to go 2 innings, right? He only faces the lineup once. Like where he struggled was once he faced the lineup the second, and of course the third, if he ever got to the third time. Like he just fell apart. And part of that, I felt like he even admitted, was like he has to go deep into games and just affect like the pitch shape. Like he just wasn't as effective going that deep into games. Can he do that? That's what all thing comes down to. It's not so much like, are you a good pitcher and do you have the stuff? Like I think it's proven he's a good pitcher and has the stuff. Can he do it throwing more than 50 pitches in a game? Can he do it when he faces the lineup for the second time? That's the biggest question. I know he's really good. Those numbers prove it. That's what makes him so good in that role. So I don't know, man. As the 5th starter, does he bring more value to this team? Or does he bring more value being this lights out, dominant force of a reliever that's going to give you 2, even 3 innings at a time if needed? Again, it's spring. I'm willing to see it. The other sad part of this too is you're not going to see that until like the last week because you need to build up to get to those innings. You know what I mean? It's not like the first 3 times you see him start, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm comfortable being the 5th starter. You're going to say, okay, so far he's done what I know he's good at.
Yeah, you'll probably figure it out by like week 3 or so. And it's not necessarily a matter of effect of like, it's not a matter of like the results in spring training. Like we know that. Like they're going to be looking at, all right, is his stuff holding up throughout his outing? Is his velocity holding up? Are his pitches not looking as good later in his outing as they are early in his outing? Because I mean, fatigue happens the same regardless if you're working up or working out. Like if you're stretched out to 2 innings, then you should be hitting your limit there at 2 innings, right? So, yeah, we'll see how it works. Like I said, spring's weird because it's hard to. It is really difficult to figure out. Like if you just like the naked eye, sometimes it's hard to figure out like if a guy's got it or not because
Mhm.
one, he's sometimes facing inferior competition and it's just different. We've all seen it. We've all seen people have really good springs and then as soon as the season starts, it's like boom, you suck. Then we've seen the complete opposite. We've seen people have really bad springs and then as soon as the season starts, it's like, well, flip a switch, we're on. Like we've seen both sides, so it's difficult to look at it at spring training results and really come to any sort of conclusion. You're gonna have to dive a lot deeper into like what's going on here in order to kind of make up your mind on this. But yeah, I don't think there's some comments in here. Murphy says there's nothing to lose and a bunch to gain by letting him try it. Bucko Commish, like, is there 0 to lose? Because you can't have a first month like you did last year. And I think the answer is just like you can't have a first month like you did last year. No. But also, Carmen Mlodzinski is a different pitcher now than he was last year. So give him the shot in spring training to kind of show it again. And I mean, you look at the fifth starter options right now, and unless they bring another veteran arm in, like right now, it's Urquidy versus Mlodzinski versus Barco.
Mhm.
That's basically the competition.
Yep. So again, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I just also, for one, don't think you're going to see what you want to see until later in spring, anyways. And so at that point in time, it's hard. I mean, again, like this whole competition, it's just kind of hard because, like, again, what you want to see from Mlodzinski to say and be comfortable with you're the fifth starter is length, and you're not really going to get length until late into spring. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm intrigued. But again, I just look like again, I love him in the role that he's currently in. I love him in that role. It's a big ups for the bullpen. And is he going to be that much better than the other guys? Well, I guess we'll find out. But at any rate, they're going to give him the opportunity. I'm okay with it. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll be talking much more about this throughout the spring, but something to keep an eye out for sure. All right, so then let's move on to our 3 things that we want to see from spring as it starts. You want to start this one?
Sure. I'll go with a guy who I feel like we haven't talked about at all this offseason. And it's Isaac Matson.
Ooh. Hail the pick.
He kind of just came out of nowhere last year, right? And we saw him the year prior pitch a little bit, but he was this 28-year-old journeyman reliever. Oh, he used to play for the Washington Wild Things. This is a cute story. And then 2025 happens and he's awesome in AAA. He gets called up and he's just a dog. Just a dog. And so now he's the 30. He's got almost a full year of major league experience under his belt. We all know relievers can be volatile. Like that's just kind of the name of the game here. I want to see Isaac Matson look as good as he looked last year because this is where you look at the bullpen and you think it like right now looking at the bullpen, it's like this bullpen's not too bad, but that's also assuming Isaac Matson is 2025 Isaac Matson. And Isaac Matson's only been that guy one time in his entire professional career. And there's, 10 years to look at. And so that's that's something I want to look at is how does Isaac Matson look? Does he still have that same swing and miss on the fastball? Because I feel like that was his thing last year. Like he was like, here's my fastball, try to hit it. And they couldn't. So will that be maintained this year? Like when he's throwing that fastball right down the middle, are people still just missing it? because
Right.
that's how he got outs last year, was just attacking people with that fastball. And so that's the storyline that I want to look into is, yeah, does Isaac Matson's fastball still look nasty? If it's March 20th and he's throwing fastballs and they're getting crushed, and maybe it starts making me worry a little bit just because we haven't seen the track record from him. I love Isaac Matson. I think he can be a big part of this bullpen, but again, like Santana, Soto, you trust those guys more just because you've seen it multiple times. Matson, we've seen it once, and it was rather late in his career. So it's like, is that who he is right now, or did we just see lightning in a bottle? Right. So Isaac Matson's a storyline I'm looking at.
I like it. And two, because we didn't really know how it was happening. Like it defied us. Like we don't understand it, but it's working. So like, yeah, is that magic still going to be there? I do like that because he's a big part of this bullpen. Uh the thing I'm looking forward to this spring training is trash cans. Um, I mean, where's Oscar the Grouch live? In a trash can. And they took Oscar and they threw him away. This rotation, this bullpen, apparently, this entire organization said, we want to do better than Oscar. We're going to throw him away like Oscar the Grouch. So the Pirates just threw him out there in the trash can. And while they're out there, they saw a group of people banging on some trash cans. And there's interesting. So they walked over to the guys banging on trash cans, and they found former Astros pitching coach Bill Murphy. And like, you know what? We're going to take you home. So they found someone's trash to be their treasure. I'm interested in what Bill Murphy is going to do with this pitching staff because a lot of praise. He's coming from a good organization, did a lot of good stuff with pitchers. And apparently the Pirates said Oscar is trash. They had the 6th best rotation last year. They had a good pitching staff, and they said, no, we can do better. So I want them to prove it to me. I'm interested to see what this guy and Billy is going to do with this pitching staff. What's his stamp? What's he going to do differently? What's funny was like when Brent Strom came in, of course, he didn't get to show us anything because he got injured. But it's the same dynamic, and we're not going to see it right away. But like Jared Jones, can Bill Murphy unlock this third pitch for Jared Jones to make him a true force? That was something we were looking at last offseason, with Jared. Hey, who knows? With Isaac Matson, is there maybe something he can unlock that's more than just a fastball? So he has another trick up his sleeve to get past hitters. I'm really interested to see what Bill Murphy does to stamp this pitching department and turn this already really good staff into this fierceful force that they believe they can be. So, trash cans.
Yeah, that was interesting, right? Like I think at the end of last year, you would have thought, hey, if there's one thing that's working on this team, is the pitching staff. So you would just assume that Oscar Marine would be retained. But like I said, this is Don Kelly's coaching staff. The pitchers apparently were like, I think we can all be a little bit better. And so they went a different direction, and they went with the younger up and coming guy in Bill Murphy. He's had some experience with a couple of these arms in the past. So yeah, that's an interesting pick. I don't know how much we're going to learn from a pitching coach over the spring. So,
well, I guess I look at it this way too, is like you really haven't heard much from him. Now that he is there in spring, I'm sure you'll hear a lot of more interviews, a lot of more quotes, people, maybe even players talking about him and such. So I'm interested to learn more about like what he is going to do. What is his philosophy? What is he trying to do to unlock these guys? Make Carmen Mlodzinski an effective 5th starter.
Yeah. I mean, the last time Jose Urquidy was a good pitcher was with Bill Murphy too. So maybe he can unlock something there again. Okay. I like it. I'm going to go with the, if you remember back in December, excuse me, if you remember back in December, there were a lot of guys added to the roster to protect them from the Rule 5 draft. It was way more than we expected to. I think we were kind of all on board that, Valdez was going to be protected. We were all on board that, that Kelly was going to be protected. Dotel, another name that we thought And then we were like, maybe Bidwa, maybe Harbin, but they protected all of them. They protected all of these guys. On top of that, they also protected Jack Brannigan, who we haven't really seen a lot of because he got hurt early last year. And when he was playing, it's not like he was doing anything spectacular in Altoona. So I'm going to be looking at all those newbies to the 40 man that they protected. But like Bidwa, Harbin, their stuff's gonna be electric all spring. I think we're just just expect that. Dotel, Kelly, they're gonna get some time. Neither of which I think are gonna make the team. But I am very interested on just like how Jack Brannigan looks because I would not have put this dude on the 40 man roster at all. I don't think anybody would have selected him. Like he has 59 games in Double A. He's 24 years old, turns 25 later next month. There's like nothing that jumps out the charts at you as to why Jack Brannigan was protected, but there's a reason Jack Brannigan was protected. So yeah, I mean, the fact that he can play shortstop probably means he's going to get a little bit of playing time this spring too, because with Gonzalez playing for Team Mexico, your shortstops are, you got Triolo, Gonzalez, and Brannigan. Like those are the three guys who are even capable of playing the position. And you expect Triolo is going to get a lot of time at third base too. So we'll probably see a good amount of Jack Brannigan this spring. And he's not going to make the team. Probably not going to make the team. But yeah, like how does Jack Brannigan look? How does the glove look? How does he look at the plate? Because like we all know the glove's good. Like that's kind of been his calling card. But he showed some power in Greensboro. And like I said, adding him to the 40 man, it means there's something there that they see in him. And so I would like to see what that is because up to this point, I haven't seen it. So yeah, Jack Brannigan in particular, but kind of that whole group of the new 40 man guys.
I like that for sure because all of them, maybe Jack Brannigan a little less, but all of them could certainly have some impact this year. But Brannigan, this could be a big year for him to make him like, hey, this is why I'm on the 40 man. Surprise. I'd love to see that. I just don't really know if he has it but we'll find out. Okay. So the thing I want to see, you know what? It's not so much seeing. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. And in spite of Justice De Los Santos, John Fogerty, center field, great song, especially for spring training. Center field, put me in, coach. Cruz is ready to play. Look at he can be center field. He's working out with Kevin Kiermaier for a little bit. So Kevin apparently got hired by the Rays right away. Because like, none of that. You're helping out other guys? No, we're going to hire you now. You hear a lot of good stuff about him on this offseason. For whatever you may be able to hear. He's been working out. He's been working hard. Don Kelly's been hyping him up and talking about him. As soon as he left, he's been going to work. We heard Kelly say that at the winter meetings. You've heard Kelly say that, as pitchers and catchers report with O'Neill himself and his agent, right? When Kevin Kiermaier announced that he wanted to do this, like he wanted to work with players specifically. The next day, O'Neill's agent was on the phone with Kevin Kiermaier arranging that, hey, you're going to work out with O'Neill Cruz. We want to see that. And O'Neill Cruz worked out with him. And we know O'Neill Cruz had a terrible season last year, offensively, defensively, within the margins, like in every possible way outside of stealing bases, essentially. I want to see how he looks in center field this year. Because, I mean, you saw last year, of course, he's so athletic. He can make up for it, right? But it wasn't pretty. And it's certainly at the beginning of the year, like it wasn't pretty. Has anything changed? He'll have minimal opportunities, but he'll have enough. Does he look different out there? Does he look more comfortable? What's his mindset? I want to see, is he more aggressive at the plate this year than he was last year? I want to almost, it's weird to say this, but like, I want to see vintage Cruz back. Better pitch selection, but like, I want to see him more aggressive at the plate. I want him up there. Like, I want to do damage. I feel like that's the best version of O'Neill Cruz. Now, yes, don't swing at the slider a foot off the plate away from you, right? Do better there, which he was getting better at, but it's like, maybe not watch strike 3 go by so often. Get aggressive early in accounts, on the pitches that you can do damage on. I'm focused on center fielder Cruz. He's going to be a big part of this team if they're good. I mean, Tyler says it more often than not among all of us. All these moves are great, but they really don't do much unless Brian Reynolds and Cruz get back on track to what they could be and have been in the past. So a lot of eyes for me is going to be on Cruz. Is this a different player? Is this a guy who's ready to come into 2026 and compete?
Yeah, that's a good one because a lot of this season rides on him. Like you said, it was like Tyler Yu. It's like the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. But yeah, a lot of the moves that they made, they don't matter. Like they don't matter unless Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz do better. Those two have to do better. And O'Neal Cruz still is the one guy who has the ceiling. Because I mean, you just see it. You see the athleticism. You see what he's capable of doing out there on the baseball field. His ceiling is still higher than any of these guys that they brought in. Like Brandon Lau is very capable of putting up, a 30-plus homer season. So is Ozuna. Ryan O'Hearn could probably hit you 20, 25 in a really good year. But like O'Neal Cruz, we saw it for a month and a half last year, right? Like where he's pacing to be this 40-40 guy. That's the kind of upside he has. Now, it's a matter of can he actually do it? Because we haven't been able to see him do it for an entire year at that level. We saw him do it in parts of one year and then parts of another year, where if you look at these arbitrary endpoints, it looks really nice. But like we still haven't seen him put together like a full, complete, awesome season. And maybe we'll never see it, right? That's a possibility. We might never see that happen from O'Neal Cruz. But he is the one offensive player on this team who is capable of giving you that 5, 6, 7 WAR season that we've kind of just haven't seen since 2021 Brian Reynolds. So
yeah.
Now, the chances of that happening are low. Like that's his 90th percentile outcome, but we've seen it from him in stretches that he can just absolutely dominate on the baseball field. So I like that one. The one thing I'll point out defensively, it's hard to outfield defense is tough down there in Florida. We've seen
but sometimes that's what makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, it's like you can't even see the baseball. So there may be times where he looks very silly out there because that's just how everyone looks.
But think about this too, right? Because balls fly there. And like, where did he look the most uncomfortable? Balls at the wall.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
All right, I'll end it with my third thing that I'm looking for, and I've got two that I'm kind of teetering back and forth on. I'm just gonna go with the obvious. I'm gonna go with the biggest storyline this spring, in my opinion, and that's Connor Griffin. I mean, if Connor Griffin truly has a chance to make this team, I expect him to take that opportunity and absolutely run with it. Now, it's possible he couldn't. He could go out there and he could not have a great spring. It's a small sample size. It's possible he can go out there and not look that great. It's the best competition he's ever played against. I don't expect that to happen. I expect him to go out there. If he's competing for a job, I think he's going to go out there and he's going to look like the best player on the field. And I think he's going to put together a spring that makes the Pirates have a really tough decision at the end of it. And hopefully that tough decision is just, we've got to bring him up because he's the best option. And hopefully it's not, oh, well, if we bring him up now, it starts his clock and raises his value. So if there are extension talks, it's going to be that much more. Like, I just hope that doesn't happen. Because like if he's ready, you're trying to win this year, like make it happen. But I'm gonna be like, obviously that's gonna be the biggest thing I'm looking at this spring is Connor Griffin. And it's not even really just a numbers thing. It's how does he look? How does he look at shortstop? How does he look at the plate? Is he does he seem overmatched in any way? Or does he seem like he's having like is he controlling at bats? Is he making adjustments? Is he doing these things that you want to see someone do? Where if you're 19 years old, you're so far ahead of where you should be that it makes you think this kid's he's just special. He's going to be something special, and I think we all know he's going to be something special. But this will be the first time we really get to see it over like a full spring against better competition. Like, hey, show us how special you are, maybe.
Yeah. I had him on list too. I saved it for the end also because I'm like, we know we both have Connor Griffin on here. So I'll let Jim decide if he's going to take him. If not, I'll ensure I have him.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Because my last one was Cruz, difference maker. But like, if there's a true difference maker on this team, it's not actually Cruz. It's Connor Griffin. Everything we said that Cruz, the 90 percentile, like Connor Griffin has that in him. Plus, you're talking about 7 WAR, like Connor Griffin has that in him, buddy. Is the guy who wants to be a Hall of Famer, not just make the team. He has that in him. Now, I'm not saying he will do it this year. I doubt he will also, but like he has that in him. So I'm excited for Connor Griffin. So I'm going to finish up on this. I want to go down there. I want to catch some feelings, Jim. It's spring training. I want to catch some feelings. The feelings I want to catch is good vibes on these catchers, because that's a pretty important position on any team. And that's one this team has a lot of question marks, and they invested a lot into one of them with Henry Davis as their number 1 overall pick, who was the can't miss hitting prospect. Now, can he field? We'll find out. But he can't not hit. Turns out it's quite the opposite. He's one of the best defensive catchers on this team in this org, and he can't hit. It's been abysmal. And every year so far, even last year with the good defensive metrics, the hitting was so poor, he's yet to put up a positive WAR season, according to Fangraphs, F4. He's a guy that you don't want to doubt. He's a hard worker. Has he maybe just invested so much work into the defense to get it where it is that he's slacked off on the offense? I don't know. But this is a whole new year. He has the defensive part down. Maybe he's worked on the offense. Maybe get better. He's changed his stance a little bit, his hands. I want to see what Henry Davis can be. Now, again, we talk about people tricking you. Jack Swinski, stats. He hit 375 last year. That was the batting average. But it's not like Henry Davis was in last year tricking us. He was also not that great. 250 batting average, 298 on base. Regardless, I want to see, can he catch up to the fastball? Can he hit that high spin? Like, what is Henry Davis doing? And not just Henry Davis. I don't want to stop there. I'm greedy, man. I'm catching all the feelings. How's Endy look? Is he healthy? I'm not looking forward to him like, oh, is he going to make the roster? But like, again, as we've seen year after year, you need more than 2 catchers on any team. Endy and Henry were going to be difference makers. Is Endy back to like, hey, can he be part of this organization, or is he just the leftovers of what could have been? Is he healthy? He's going to be a big part because he has those vibes too. I love Endy. I mean, the first day of pitching and catching, you saw a video of him and he's talking about the password. He's like, oh, the password because I'm the username. I'm just like, this guy's just so great for this team. And again, not stopping there, like Rafael Flores. They made a trade with David Bednar. You traded and got this guy. You can't not miss on that. Like show me the reason why he was the guy. We know there's a lot of swing and miss in his game, right? And again, like I understand it's spring training, right? But like I want to see how he looks. Is that cleaned up? Is he potential to be on this roster at some point in time to be, a factor? So pretty much everyone but Joey Bart, I'm looking forward at the catcher spot in this offseason to see like who they are.
Yeah, Joey Bart, I think kind of is what he is at this point. I think he's a league average hitter, below average defensive catcher. He's fine if he's on your team. Maybe
he might not even be on the team.
Might not even be on the team. But no, man, it's a good thing. You really could, like, if one of those 3 guys can like really truly step up and turn themselves into a legitimate major league catcher. And when I mean one of those 3 guys, I mean Davis, Endy, and Flores. You've invested a lot into all of those guys, really.
Mhm.
One of them you used a first overall pick on. The other one you traded your hometown all-star closer for. And the other one you traded a starting pitcher who was like the only good piece you had left in the best starting pitcher you had this century before Paul Skeens when trading him. So yeah, you've got a lot invested into that position, and you need one of those guys to hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it's Henry. I mean,
Literally
hopefully it's all
and
3, but, like,
figuratively.
one of them has to figure it out and become a legit MLB player.
Yes,
So we just haven't
agree.
seen it yet.
Yep. Unfortunately, that one has been very redundant. That's what I'm looking for. I think all of us every spring training.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, seeing how I'll exclude you from this. We never thought Henry Davis would be a good catcher. We felt he might be adequate. And he's done wonders there. So like why doubt on that he can't focus and do that on the bat as well? At least we knew that was in him at one point.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean, when
cool.
he was drafted, he was expected to be a hitter. We just haven't seen it yet
Right.
at the major league level.
So there's all of our 3 things we're looking forward to this spring, which by the way, Jim, we'll be starting to see them in less than a week.
Yeah, Saturday, my plane lands down there. Next Sunday, we'll be doing a live show from Lecom Park. That's the home opener for the Pirates down there. So we'll be down there for that. We'll be down there for every other home game after that for 2 weeks. So yeah, looking forward to that. Our next Bucko Brew will be live from Bradenton. So next Monday morning, we'll be live from Bradenton. We'll have already seen a game too, so there'll be plenty to talk about. But yeah, looking forward to the trip. Should be we got some should be a lot of fun. I mean, spring training is just the best. I love it.
It is. It is. And again, as I've talked about before, 2 weeks. We'll be there for 2 weeks. Now, I'll be there the first weekend. I'll be there Saturday and for the game on Sunday. Then I'm coming back home, driving back up here. Week 1 is going to be you, Tyler, Cody, and Doug. So they got you guys covered. They'll be in Bradenton for the whole first full week. And then on Saturday, we're doing a switch. That's when I come
Shift
back
change,
in.
the line
Yeah,
change. Yeah.
there it is, a line change. Yeah, out goes Sidney Crosby and Malkin. In comes whatever us losers would be. I don't know hockey that much, obviously. But anyways, yeah. So then I'll be coming in. Neil will be coming in. Nathan will be coming in. Ryan and I said Neil, huh? Yeah, and Ryan at some capacity. We'll have different dates and all that, but we'll be down there for 2 weeks covering y'all. Will be 8 full games at Lecom that we'll be doing shows at. We'll be there for lots of cool content coming. I can't wait. I'm excited. Do we want to actually make the announcement here about the thing that we had Cody make last night?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not? I was also on IG, Facebook, post on Twitter as well, save some dates. Well, one date we're going to tell you about, April 18th, Paul Skeens bobblehead. That is going to be our tailgate, the first tailgate of 2026. We'll be there, and it's 9. We'll have the tailgate at noon, as we always do, catered by Permani Brothers. So come have a great time. And then afterwards, we'll go watch Paul Skeens, the Cy Young winner, dominate the Marlins, and you all get his bobblehead.
Rays.
Like I said, that other Florida team that nobody cares about.
Yeah, I think it's the second homestand of the season too, I want to say. So it'll be a good time. Hopefully the weather's nice, but yeah, April 18th, tailgate, first tailgate. The plan is to have more than one this year. So if you can't make the first one, there'll be another one. But yeah, it's going to be a fun first tailgate. So make sure you save the day. And if you haven't bought tickets yet, don't worry. We should have we should have some tickets saved for you to buy so that we can all kind of sit in one spot during the game. So
We'll
we'll send out a link for that.
Yeah, and that should be coming soon, hopefully.
That should be coming soon. Yep. But if you want to go to the tailgate and you don't have tickets yet, hold on a little bit.
That's right. We got you covered. So I'm excited. Spring training, tailgate. We still have more announcements coming, but there you go. So we'll see you guys. If you're in Bradenton, let us know too. We'll see you down there.
Yeah, come say hi. Like I said, we'll be there for 2 weeks. So if you're down there, come say hi.
For sure. For sure. So let's go ahead and get out of here. We love and appreciate you all. We'll see you on Wednesday. The last time the three of us are together before Bradenton, away from each other, together but away. Because then on Saturday and Sunday we'll be together again. So yeah, and it's not live on Wednesday after some actual like spring training stuff happening. So I'm excited for that. So we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.